and I'm told it will work. We have a terrific program this evening, Make 'em Laugh, by the one, the only Arnold Breman. That's right. That's right. I told Arnold I once shot an elephant in my pajamas. How he got there, I'll never know. Yeah, that's a Groucho Marx joke. You're going to see Groucho, and you're going to see Fanny Brice, Burt Lahr, Charlie Chaplin, Burns and Allen, Phil Silvers, all of the greats will be on the screen tonight, presented and narrated by a man who knew all of them. All of them. Well, many of them. All right. Many of them. He doesn't quite go back to the silent screen era, but not quite anyway. Arnold Breman, as you all know, and I suppose he requires no introduction really, retired impresario, arts administrator, author, speaker. He's really done it all, and he's put together a wonderful, wonderful program that I think you're all going to enjoy. It is my honor to present to you my friend, Arnold Breman.
I'm not doing anything nasty.
Hello? Okay, all right. We'll use the hand mic. All right. Without, now we have to turn this off. I only knew one of the artists. But without further ado, good evening, and thank you very much for inviting me. But let's get right into it. Let's make them laugh.
Come laugh, make 'em laugh. Don't you know everyone wants to laugh? My dad said be an actor, my son, but be a comical one. They'll be standing in lines for those old honky-tonk monkey shines. You could study Shakespeare and be quite elite, and you could charm the critics and have nothing to eat. Just slip on a banana peel, the world's at your feet. Make 'em laugh, make 'em laugh, make 'em laugh. Make 'em laugh. Don't you know everyone wants to laugh? My grandpa said go out and tell 'em a joke, but give it plenty of hope. Make 'em roar, make 'em scream. Take a fall, but a wall split a seam. You start off by pretending you're a dancer with grace. You wiggle till they're giggling all over the place. And then you get a great big custard pie in the face. Make 'em laugh, make 'em laugh, make 'em laugh.
That was Donald O'Connor in Singing in the Rain. Well, Mark Twain said, the human race has one really effective weapon, and that is laughter. Tonight we're going to visit with some of the people who tickled our fancies for more than 100 years, developing their careers through burlesque, vaudeville, film, radio and television, and the modern stage, making fun of everything, including themselves. They brought us tears of joy and much-needed comic relief to each day. Victor Borge once said to me, "Laughter is my greatest reward." Quoting Charles Dickens from A Christmas Carol, "There is nothing in this world so irresistibly contagious as laughter and good humor." Hundreds and hundreds of comedians during the 20th century have helped bring us out of our doldrums. So sit back and relax and enjoy this 80-minute comical journey with some of the best. Get your tissues ready, and don't be afraid to let some of those happy tears fall. Woody Allen summed it up very well. I'm thankful for laughter, except when milk comes out of my nose. Well, we all know burlesque caused laughter by caricaturizing serious works or ludicrous treatment of their subjects. In the U.S., burlesque shows performed in a variety of formats. From the 1860s to the 1940s, featured bawdy comedies and female striptease. The American style of burlesque flourished with increasing focus on female nudity. Ostensibly, exotic Middle Eastern coochie dancers were brought in. Burlesque shows mostly had up to 6 strippers, supported by 1 or 2 comics and a masters of ceremonies. So many of our great comedians got their early careers in burlesque. See how many of them you recognize. Know any of these people? Okay. Well, one of the great stars and early stars from burlesque was Fanny Brice. Fanny Brice was a comedian, model, singer, theater, and film actress. In 1944, her top-rated radio show was The Baby Snooks Show. She was called the Queen of Comedy. Why? Because here is Fanny Brice and another major star who got their start on the burlesque circuit, Judy Garland, the two of them together.
What you doing, Snooks? I've been reading books. Well, put your books away and let's go out and play. Why? Because. Why? Because. I don't want to. Well, you oughta. Let's play cops and crooks. I want to read my books. Don't be a baby, Snooks. Snooks, you mustn't cry. You're too big to cry. Why? Because. Why? Because big girls never cry. I saw Mommy cry. You did? Uh-huh. The time my Mommy saw my daddy kiss the nurse goodbye. Snooks. What? Can you do a sum? Nicey taught me some. Snooks, how much is 2 and 2? 2 and 2 is 2 and 2. 2 and 2 are 4. Why? Because. Why? Because 1 and 1 are 2. So 2 and 2 are more. Snooks, you mustn't weep. You're too big to weep. Why? Because. Why? Because grown-ups never weep. I saw Daddy weep. You did? Uh-huh. The night my Mommy caught my daddy walking in his sleep.
Oh, that was Fanny Brice and Judy Garland. Known as an American actress, singer, playwright, and screenwriter, and sex symbol, Mae West's career spanned 70 years with her famous bawdy double entendres. West made a name for herself in burlesque and vaudeville before moving to Hollywood motion pictures. Constantly battling censorship, she once said, "I believe in censorship. I made a fortune out of it." Later in her career, West reluctantly accepted the co-starring role in My Little Chickadee opposite W.C. Fields, who played himself in his films. But his humor was brutally honest. He said, "I'm free of all prejudices. I hate everyone equally." West and Field detested each other and the script intensely, but the end result became one of the funniest comedies of the time. Here are a few moments from My Little Chickadee, Mae West and W.C. Fields.
Must come up and see me sometime.
Oh, yeah, I'll do that, my little chickadee.
May I?
Help yourself.
Would you mind if I availed myself of the second helping?
Compromising me.
Flower Belle Lee, are you trying to show contempt for this court?
No, I'm doing my best to hide it.
Unhand me, you bearded beaver! Have you any last wish?
Yes, I'd like to see Paris before I die.
Philadelphia will do.
And any time you got nothing to do and lots of time to do it, why, come on. Intimidate me. Savage as they are.
That was Mae West and W.C. Fields. William Bud Abbott and Lou Costello were a comedy duo that also transformed from burlesque to vaudeville, stage, radio, film, and television. They were the most popular comedy team during the 1940s and 50s. The burlesque-type routine, Who's On First, is considered one of the greatest comedy routines of all times. Time magazine called it the best comedy sketch of the 20th century. Here is a bit of Who's On First.
On our team, we have who's on first, what's on second, I don't know's on third.
That's what I want to find out, the guy's name. That's what I want to find out, the guy's name.
I'm telling you, who's on first, what's on second, I don't know's on third.
Now, Abbott, you going to be the manager of the baseball team?
Yes.
You know the guy's names?
Well, I should.
Well, now you tell me the guy's names on the baseball
I
team.
say, who's on first, what's on second, I don't know's on third.
You ain't saying nothing to me yet. Go ahead and tell me.
I'm telling him.
You ain't said nothing yet. Go ahead and tell me.
Who's on first, what's on second, I don't know is on third.
You know the guy's names on the baseball team?
Yes.
Well, go ahead. Who's on first?
Yes.
I mean the guy's name.
Who?
The guy playing first.
Who?
The guy playing first base.
Who?
The guy on first base.
Who is on first?
What are you asking me for? I don't know.
Now, wait a minute,
I'm asking you who's on first.
That's his name.
Well, go ahead and tell me.
Who?
The guy on first.
That's it. That's his name.
Well, you ain't said nothing. I ain't asked you nothing.
You did.
You know the guy's name on first base?
Sure.
Well, tell me the guy's name on first base.
Who?
The guy playing first base.
Who is on first, Lou?
What are you asking me for?
Don't get excited. I'm saying who...
I'm asking you a simple question. Who's on first?
Yes.
Well, go ahead and tell me.
That's it.
That's who? I'm asking you, what's the guy's name on first base?
Oh, no, what's on second?
I'm not asking you who's on second.
Who's on first?
One base at a time now.
Don't mix up my...
I'm not mixing up anybody. Now, what's the guy's name on first base?
No, what is on second?
I'm not asking you who's on second.
Who is on first?
I don't know.
He's on third. We're not talking.
Wait a minute.
Whoa. No, well, let's not...
Whoa. How did I get on third base?
You mentioned his name.
I mentioned his name.
Yes.
I don't know anybody's name on the team. How could I mention a guy's name?
You did. You just mentioned it.
All right, what's the guy's name on third base?
No, what's on second?
Who's on second?
Who's on first?
I don't know.
He's on first.
See what I mean?
Oh, that's to make you crazy. Well, the full version runs 12 minutes. They go through all the baseball positions except right field. And just for the record, shortstop at the very end, his name was I Don't Give a Damn. Best known as the Cowardly Lion in The Wizard of Oz, comic actor Burt Lahr became one of the most beloved comedians in burlesque, vaudeville, and on Broadway. Interestingly, Lahr said laughter is never too far away from tears. Ironically, he was married to a Ziegfeld girl who cheated on him openly. After The Wizard of Oz, he said, I was typecast as a lion, and there aren't all that many parts for lions. Here he is in If I Were King of the Forest. Here is the great Burt Lahr.
I were king of the forest, not queen, not duke, not prince. My regal robes of the forest would be satin, and not cotton, and not chintz. I'd command each thing, be it fish or fowl, with a whoosh and a whoosh and a royal growl. As I'd click my heel, all the trees would kneel, and the mountains bow, and the bulls kowtow. And the sparrow would take wing. Fie, fie, were a king.
Definitely a royal performer. Following burlesque, vaudeville, a theatrical genre of variety entertainment, was popular from the 1880s until the 1930s. Each performance constituted a series of unrelated acts together on a common stage bill. There were all types of acts in vaudeville shows, from trained animals to magicians, but they were never without the comics. A number of our fondest comedians began as vaudevillians. Notice any familiar faces here? Well, vaudevillians came from saloons, minstrel and freak shows, dime museums, and burlesque. Some called vaudeville the heart of American show business. Buster Keaton, a comic actor, filmmaker, producer, and writer, starred in vaudeville but was best known for his silent films. His trademark was physical comedy, with a consistently stoic, deadpan expression, earning him the nickname the Great Stone Face. Now, 300-pound Roscoe Fatty Arbuckle, also a silent film actor, comedian, director, and screenwriter, he mentored Charlie Chaplin and discovered Buster Keaton and Bob Hope. Arbuckle was one of the most popular silent stars of the 1910s, became one of Hollywood's highest-paid actors and first millionaires. At a raucous three-day party in 1921, a young starlet became severely ill and died 4 days later. Newspapers went wild with the story. Popular screen comedian Fatty Arbuckle had killed Virginia Rapp with his weight while savagely raping her. Overindulging newspapers of the day reveled in the gore. 3 juries found little evidence that Arbuckle was any way connected with her death. Keaton testified on Arbuckle's behalf. Keaton and Arbuckle created comical magic on the silver screen and co-starred in 10 films together. Here is a short segment from The Cook. Talk about graceful and sexy. I don't think so. Joey Brown, another vaudevillian, was remembered for his amiable screen persona, comic timing, and enormous wide smile. He was considered one of the most popular comedians in the 30s and 40s. In his later career, Brown co-starred in Some Like It Hot as Osgood Fielding III, in which he spoke the famous punchline after Jack Lemmon removed his wig, his lady wig, "Well, nobody's perfect." Here is one of the most delightful vaudeville routines from Joey Brown.
Well, there was a little mousey. Just a little one. Just a little teeny one. He was no bigger than that. And a little mousey was playing in a big cellar. And a little mousey fell in a big barrel of whiskey. And he was drowning. He couldn't swim. Not one stroke. And a big pussycat saw a little mousey in a big barrel of whiskey, and he pulled him out. And he saved his life. And he said, "Mousey, I'm not going to eat you now, because I'm not hungry. But you'll be here tomorrow morning at 9:00 a.m., and then I'm going to eat you." And the little mousey said, "All right, I'll be here." And at 9:00 the next morning, the big pussycat was sitting in a big cellar waiting for a little mousey. And a little mousey didn't come.
That was Joey Brown. When he referred to his nose as a schnozola, the word became his nickname. James Francis Durante was a singer, pianist, actor, composer, comedian. His distinctive gravely speech, comic language butchery, jazz-influenced song, and schnozzola helped make him one of America's most popular personalities from the 1920s to the 1970s. In 1934, he had a major record hit with his own novelty composition, Inka-Dinka-Doo. It became his theme song for his life. His most famous sign-off was, "Good night, Mrs. Calabash, wherever you are." Only after his death was it revealed that Mrs. Calabash was his first wife. Here is Jimmy Durante and Harry James.
Now, once upon a time, they sang the Vodeo-Do, but that was long ago. Then everybody started into boop-boop-a-doo. They got tired of that, you know. Everybody puts in extra notes. Mr. James, I'll give you $50. You show me broop-broop in the music. Show me broop-broop. There's broop-broop. Too bad I can't read. But the tune for you and me. Very unnecessary. Is that swingy symphony? They go a-dink-a-dee, a-dink-a-doo, a-dink-a-dee. Oh, what a tune for crooning. Ink, a-dink-a-dee, a-dink-a-doo, a-dink-a-dee. It's got the whole world swooning. Eskimo bells up in. Let me hear those trumpets. That's not a trumpet. That's not a trumpet. That's a trumpet. Ink, a-dink-a-dee, a-dink-a-doo, a-dink-a-dee. Simply means ink, a-dink-a-dee, a-dink-a-doo. Ink, a-dink-a-dee, a-dink-a-doo. Let me hear my symphony. What a band. Inks, a-dink-a-dee, a-dink-a-doo, a-dink-a-dee. It's got the whole world swooning.
That was the great Jimmy Durante. Now we move on to some of the people who made us laugh on the silver screen. The Marx Brothers were a family comedy act originally from New York City, which enjoyed success in vaudeville, on Broadway, and motion pictures from 1905 to 1949. The core of the act was the three elder brothers, Chico, Harpo, and Groucho. Each developed a highly distinctive stage persona. Gummo and Zeppo did not develop their stage characters to the same extent and pursued other careers. Now, why was Julius Marx renamed Groucho? The real reason was very simple. He was always grouchy. Here are the zany Marx Brothers aboard a steamship in a night of the opera.
In here.
Oh, sure, that's all right.
Yes?
We've come to make up your room. Are those my hard-boiled eggs?
I can't tell until they get in the room. Come on in, girls, and leave all hope behind. But you've got to work fast because you've got to get out in 10 minutes.
Hey, Tommaso, wake up, or they're going to fix the beds.
Say, I'd like 2 pillows on that bed there, huh?
All right, bring them.
Say, there's a slight misunderstanding here. I said the girls had to work fast, not your friend.
He's still asleep.
You know, he does better asleep than I do awake.
Hey, he always sleeps that way. Now he's half asleep.
Yes, he's half asleep and half Nelson.
All right, come on.
Yes? I'm the engineer.
Come on.
Came to turn off the
Wake
heat. Well, you can start right in on him.
Wake up, Tommaso. Tommaso, we're going to eat soon.
You know, if it wasn't for Gottlieb, I wouldn't have got this room. Just hold him there a second. Yes?
Did you want a manicure?
No, come on in. I hadn't planned on a manicure, but I think on a journey like this, you ought to have every convenience you can get. Hey, listen, I'm getting the manicure. Get out of here, will you?
Did you want your nails long or short?
You better make them short. It's getting kind of crowded in here. I don't know. This isn't the way I pictured an ocean voyage. I always visualized myself sitting in a steamer chair with a steward bringing me bouillon.
Come on, Ricardo.
You couldn't get any bouillon in here unless they brought it in through a keyhole.
I'm the engineer's assistant.
You know, I had a premonition you were going to show up. The engineer's right over there in the corner. You can chop your way right through. Say, is it my imagination or is it getting crowded in here?
I got plenty of room.
Yes?
Is my Aunt Minnie in here?
Well, you can come in and prowl around if you wanna. If she isn't in here, you can probably find somebody just as good.
Well, could I use your phone?
Use the phone. I'll lay even money you can't get in the room.
How do you do?
This boat will be in New York before you can get to that phone.
I came to mop up.
Just the woman I'm looking for. Come right ahead. You'll have to start on the ceiling. It's the only place that isn't being occupied.
You can clean my shoes if you want.
Tell Aunt Minnie to send up a bigger room.
Now that was hardly the Princess Cruise Line. Charles Spencer Charlie Chaplin was an English comic actor, filmmaker, and composer who rose to fame in the silent era, becoming a worldwide icon through his screen persona, the Tramp. He was considered one of the most important figures in the history of the film industry. His career spanned more than 75 years, from childhood in the Victorian era until a year before his death at age 88 in 1977. He encompassed both adulation and controversy. A co-founder of United Artists, he had complete control over his films. He rejected sound and instead produced city lights and modern times without dialogue. Chaplin became increasingly political, and his next film, The Great Dictator, satirized Adolf Hitler. The 1940s were a decade marked with controversy for Chaplin. He was accused of communist sympathies, involved in a paternity suit, and a scandal. As a matter of fact, if you read in today's paper, in 1940, on this day, Chaplin went on trial accused of transporting his underage protege across state lines for immoral purposes. FBI investigations forced Chaplin to leave the United States and settle in Switzerland. Despite his great adversities, Chaplin maintained the ability to laugh. He said, "To truly laugh, you must be able to take your pain and play with it." Join Charlie Chaplin in the lion's cage. Guess he wasn't hungry. Anyone here know who David Daniel Kaminsky was? Danny Kaye. Danny Kaye was born in Brooklyn. As an actor, singer, dancer, and comedian, his performance featured physical comedy, idiosyncratic pantomimes, and rapid-fire nonsense songs. Danny Kaye starred in 17 popular films, especially his bravura performances of patter songs. He was the first ambassador at large of UNICEF in 1954 and received the French Legion of Honor in 1986 for his work in the organization. Kay once told a group of reporters, "All I want to be is funny. I never aspired to play Hamlet." Here is Danny Kaye in a scene from The Secret Life of Walter Mitty. He was brilliant.
Everybody sit down. Children, what makes music music? Music. And why? When to the symphony you go, and they're playing fast but slow, do you hear the pizzicato sweet and low? When you go, or the flugelhorns up high, or the fiddles when they cry? No. And why? Because you don't go. You see, children, a symphony is not only music, it has a story. It has a beginning, and a middle, and an end. Except, of course, the unfinished symphony, which has a beginning. We will now take up the instruments. There is the trombone, pop, and the tuba, pop, 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 and the oboe, and the saxophone, sousaphone, zither, and xylophone, clarinet, buglehorn, fiddle, and flugelhorn, tenor, kazoo, and the timpani tune. They are all very busy, except the cymbal. He stands in the corner and looks around in disgust. This brings us to Symphony number 45, which was written by the great Czechoslovakian composer Andrei Griminik Grogetsemeneka del Grobitsekanat Halginikin. The second. This work was composed under a slight disadvantage. He had no talent. The conductor lifts his baton and we start. This is just mood music. Now comes the first movement. Presto vivace, argomento molto, contabile molto, chocolo molto. And we have the first theme, which is naturally played on the first fiddle. Bing, 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 bing. This represents a young girl which is living with her wicked guardian, who is a French horn. Poro, poro, poro. Now this young girl, bing, 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 who is a beautiful girl. Bing, 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 bing. And her wicked guardian, poro, 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 live all alone on a farm, and all she has for company are a hen and a dog.
Oh, that was the great Danny Kaye. Radio, oops. Well, we lost it. Give me a second. We pressed the wrong button, but I'll be with you in 1 second. We'll get back to it. Here we go. Radio and television. Whoops. It's not working. Just bear with me for one. Okay. Radio and television brought comedy alive to millions upon millions of people. Many comedians began on radio, then moved their shows to TV as the medium developed, including these famous people. Recognize any of them? Amos and Andy is a sitcom set in Manhattan's black community of Harlem, popular in the United States from the 1920s to the 1950s on both radio and television. The radio show was initially written and voiced by 2 white actors. Obviously, television required black actors to take over the roles. Here is a scene on how Amos, Andy, Calhoun, and the Kingfish deal with the IRS and taxes.
See, but there was a fellow in here just now from the Income Tax Bureau.
Income tax. See you again, fella. Wait a minute. They ain't after you. They're looking for us. Oh.
Looking for you. Yeah, Amos, when you made out our income tax last month, did you do the thing right?
Why, certainly, fellas. There was no problem with yours.
Well, then what the man looking for us for?
Oh, I don't know. Well, let's say I did make a mistake in addition or something, but that ain't nothing to worry about. All you have to do is pay a couple of dollars penalty and you're all right.
Well, I'm glad it ain't nothing more serious than that.
Yeah, well, it ain't, Andy, because
Making a little mistake in arithmetic ain't nothing. The only time you was in trouble with them income tax boys is when you don't file no return at all. That's when they get Alcatraz it. Damn it. Why, they can send you away for the rest of your natural life, or even longer.
Well, as far as we are concerned, we in the clear. Because we filed the returns, Amos made them out, and Andy mailed them. Yeah, sure feel good when
They sure do. You know, for a minute there, I thought they was after me.
Well, all I know is it can't be nothing wrong because I'm sure I made out the tax right.
It's funny how you can worry about something when there ain't nothing to worry about.
Yeah, well, that's how I do it.
Looks like he got that.
Oh, Amos and Andy. He was everyone's Uncle Milty. Comedian Milton Berle reigned supreme on Tuesday nights from 1948 to 1955 as host of NBC's Texaco Star Theater. It was television's golden age. He was the first American television star. Starting at the age of 12 in vaudeville, he rose up in the business through Broadway, radio, and then television. So few movie tickets were sold on Tuesdays, some theaters, restaurants, and other businesses shut down for the hour or closed for the evening so their customers would not miss Berle's antics. People without sets went to television stores to watch the show through their store windows. It was rumored in Detroit an investigation took place when the water levels took a drastic drop in the reservoirs on Tuesday nights between 9 and 10 p.m. It seems that everyone in Detroit waited until the end of the show before going to the bathroom. Milton Berle said, "I live to laugh, and I laugh to live." Here is Mr. Television with one of his very, very popular sidekicks.
Big party thrower, Elsa Meatball.
Here he is. Howdy Doody's brother off duty.
Well, the big star is giving a big party for all the little people who slaved for him all year.
That's right, that's right.
So delightful.
Thank you.
So delectable.
Yeah.
So deductible.
Now listen, Francis, look, this is the year of goodwill toward men. Goodwill toward men, and in your point, I'm going to stretch a point, and I'm going to include you. You know what I mean? So let's not have any fights anymore. Let's make up. Huh?
I say?
Let's make up.
I'm glad you said that. Make up!
Are you kidding with the... That's a corny bit. That's out of date. My sponsor threw that powder puff out 3 years ago.
Should have kept the powder puff and thrown you out.
Now, stop. How can you say that? My sponsor... Look at me. You ruined my brother's coat. You kidding me? My sponsor loves me. He adores me. Why, when the Buick people meet me on the street, they wrap their arms around me.
Better they should wrap their cards around.
Are you kidding? After last week's program, the sponsor called up my mother and congratulated her.
Sure, even she's funnier than you.
My mother's funnier than you.
Just be careful what you say about your mother. Your mother's a fine woman.
I didn't say
you should be very good to your
I'm
mother.
very good.
You know, she did a lot for you.
That's right. She started me off on the right road.
She should have started you off on the right cliff.
I was... Now, wait a minute.
Claw, clear me, claws off me. You're shrinking the shantung.
Shrinking the shantung?
That was Milton Berle and Arnold Stang. Well, age is strictly a case of mind over matter. It doesn't mind. If you don't mind, it doesn't matter, said the forever 39-year-old comedian Jack Benny. Benny was a leading entertainer of the 20th century. He was known for comic timing and the ability to create laughter with a pregnant pause or a single expression, such as his signature exasperation. Well, the Jack Benny program ran on radio from 1932 to 1955. It was among the most highly rated programs during its run. The television version of Jack Benny ran from 1950 to 1965. Now, despite his miserly act, Benny was extremely generous. He performed benefits around the country to raise funds for American symphony orchestras, saving many of them from bankruptcy. Jack Benny, here is Jack Benny and comedian Mel Blanc in one of the most famous comedy sketches. Now watch Benny closely. He doesn't have to say a word in this particular segment.
Oh, pardon me, mister, but did my man come over and put some of my clothes in your luggage?
See?
Are you going to New York?
See?
Are you taking flight 18?
See?
What's your name?
Sorry.
Si? My man told me you were going to visit some relatives in New York.
See?
A sister, is it?
See?
I'm afraid to ask this next one. What's her name?
Sue?
Sue? Well, look, Sue, or C.
The great Jack Benny. Now, the Burns and Allen comedy duo consisted of George Burns and his crazy wife, Gracie Allen. They worked in vaudeville, films, radio, and television. The top-rated Burns and Allen show premiered in 1936 and ran on radio till 1950. Their real marriage was not written into the show until 1941 and revised the format to include husband and wife characters in a situation comedy. Well, I bet you didn't know this, but in 1940, Burns and Allen pulled a major stunt. Gracie Allen for president against Roosevelt. Representing the surprise party and advocating sheer nonsense as part of her platform, Gracie actually received write-in votes on Election Day, but she lost to Roosevelt. Burns always ended the show with, "Say goodnight, Gracie," to which Allen simply replied, "Good night." She never said, "Good night, Gracie." Here are George Burns and Gracie Allen.
See, we're right close to election time.
Oh, and don't I know it? I heard a political speech on television yesterday. It was very interesting.
Was the speaker Republican or Democrat?
I think so.
Well, couldn't you tell by what he said?
Well, I didn't listen to him. You see, when I vote, I want to have an open mind.
Well, I wouldn't open it too much. You might catch cold.
Well, I'll be careful.
What's that now?
Did you ever know that my Uncle Otis ran for city councilman of San Francisco?
Oh?
Oh, and what a campaign he put on.
Kissed all the babies, huh?
Oh, no, why should he? In San Francisco, very few babies are old enough to vote.
Yeah, well, the climate there keeps the babies young.
Of course. Some people thought Uncle Otis wouldn't make a good councilman because he liked to drink a little.
Oh?
So part of his campaign was to prove he had reformed.
How did he do that?
Well, every night he went around the neighborhood from house to house.
From house to house, yeah.
And when a man came to the door, he'd make a pledge.
Made a pledge, yeah.
Yes, he'd say, "Good evening, friend. This is the last drink I'll ever take," and then he'd take one. So after about 20 or 30 pledges, they carried him home.
On a stretcher, no doubt.
Oh, no, by that time, he was so stiff he didn't need one.
Oh, George Burns and Gracie Allen. Well, now came the great one. Jackie Gleason was known for his brash visual and verbal style comedy, exemplified by his character Ralph Cramden in The Honeymooners. The Jackie Gleason Show became the second highest rated show during the 1954-55 season. Gleason enhanced the show with flashy opening dance numbers inspired by Busby Berkeley-type screen dance routines featuring the precision choreographed June Taylor dancers, who were originally called the Toastettes. Following the dance performance, he did his opening monologue, and with a little traveling music from Ray Bloch, he would shuffle then towards the wing, shouting, "And away we go." The phrase became one of his trademarks, along with "how sweet it is," which was used in reaction to almost anything. By far, Gleason's most popular character was blustery bus driver Ralph Cramden. These sketches became known as the Honeymooners. It portrayed Ralph's get-rich-quick schemes, his scatterbrained sewer worker neighbor and friend Ed Norton, and his sensible wife Alice, who kept trying to pull her husband's head from the clouds. The show also became the birthplace of catchphrases invented by Gleason, and he coined the famous threat, "One of these days, Alice, right in the kisser." Here is a tribute to the great one.
Humna, 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 humna.
I'm going to the moon! One of these days, pow, right in the kisser.
It pays to buy the best.
Oh, you're a riot. Why could they want? Oh, I can call you up. There's no way to treat you. Everybody! Get up! Mike, get up! Get up!
Baby, you're the greatest.
That was Jackie Gleason. And as an entertainer, Phil Silvers, known as the King of Chutzpah. Silvers began his career by singing at bar mitzvahs and Jewish weddings in Bronzeville, Brooklyn, at the ripe old age of 5. As a boy, he ran errands for the mafia, but straightened out and went into burlesque, then vaudeville, and on to Broadway and film and television. Silvers became a household name in 1955 when he starred as Sergeant Bilko in You'll Never Get Rich, later retitled The Phil Silvers Show. The military-based farce became a television hit, with the opportunistic Bilko fast-talking his way through one scheme after another. Here is Phil Silvers with another great comedian, Dick Van Dyke, and some very surprise guests. See if you recognize who they are.
What's wrong now?
Well, my pappy ain't gonna like it one bit, me playing up north with the Yankees.
I think I told you 100 times they're all Southern boys.
Well, I ain't calling you no liar, Sarge, but I sure didn't hear no Southern accents out at that ballpark today.
All right, Hank. Don't take my word for it. The owner himself will be up here. You can ask him. That must be him now. Come in. Well, bless my soul, Hank. This here is Colonel Dan talking. This is Hank Lumpkin.
Right glad to meet you, Colonel.
Showing up. Here we have Colonel Philip Calhoun Rizzuto. Showing up. And coming this way is Colonel Gilbert Beauregard MacDougall.
Hi, Al.
Showing up. Well, bless my soul, here's Colonel Whitey Stonewall Ford.
I do.
Showing up. And last but not least from the Deep South, this year's Colonel Yogi Ashley Berra.
What, please, make your acquaintance.
Sure enough. Yeah. Colonel Yogi is going to be your catcher. Ain't that right, Yogi? Sure enough.
I like him.
Good.
Yeah, he reminds me of Doberman.
Yeah. Well, gentlemen, I guess you all came here to pick up the contract.
Sure enough.
Well, Hank, these gentlemen in a hurry to get back to their plantation. You sign the contract, they'll give us a check. Ain't that right, gentlemen?
Sure enough. Sure. I'll be glad to sign this.
That's a good boy. Sign right there. Sign. That's it. Here's the contract, Colonel. And this is the check. I wish I was in the land of God. Yeah. Well, gentlemen, we'll talk this over again sometime over some mint julep. Thank you all for coming down. I'll be over to your plantation and have some cornflour and some huh? Who's Dover? I don't know. Well, so long. Leave the ditch, you all. That's a good one.
That was unbelievable. Comedian, model, beautiful film, television actress, and studio executive describes Lucille Ball. She was star of many sitcoms, including I Love Lucy. She was one of the most popular stars and entrepreneurs in the entertainment field during her lifetime. In the 1930s and 40s, she starred as an RKO girl, doing bit chorus roles as a chorus girl, and became a television star during the 1950s, continuing to make films up until the 70s. The I Love Lucy show was her way to try to salvage her strained marriage to Desi Arnaz. Here is America's favorite saleswoman, Lucy Ricardo.
Now you stand right over here.
Yes, sir.
Now let's try it once, and remember, be bright and vivacious.
Yes, sir.
All right. Maury, will you stand by with the script, please? All right.
Hello, friends. I'm your Vitamita Benjamin girl. Are you tired, run down, listless? Do you poop out at parties? Are you unpopular? The answer to all your problems is in this little bottle.
Now you pick up the bottle.
Oh,
A little higher. That's right.
the answer to all your problems is in this little bottle. Vitamita Benjamin. Vitamita Benjamin contains vitamins, meat, vegetables, and minerals. Yes, with Vitamita Benjamin, you can spoon your way to health. All you do is take a tablespoonful after every meal.
Now you take some.
Oh. It's so tasty, too. Just like candy.
No. Look, you're supposed to like the stuff. You got to smile, be happy.
Yes.
Now try it again.
It's so tasty, too. It's just like candy.
That's going to be fine. You just go ahead.
Okay. So why don't you join the thousands of happy country people and get a great big bottle of Vitamita Benjamin tomorrow? That's Vitamita Benjamin.
Now we're going to time it this time. You ready? Go.
Well, I'm your vitamin girl. Are you tired of run down listless? Do you pop out at parties? Are you unpopular? Well, are you? The answer to all your problems is in this little bottle. Vitamita Benjamin. That's it. Vitamita Benjamin contains vitamins and meat and vegetables and minerals. So why don't you join the thousands of happy peppy people and get a great big bottle of Like sandwich you have to do. You have to take a whole tablespoonful after every meal. It's so tasty, too. Just like candy. So everybody get a bottle of this stuff.
Oh, there was only one Lucille Ball. Then there was Edith and Archie Bunker. Television audiences had never seen anything quite like the Bunkers. American television was never the same. All in the Family was an American sitcom that was originally broadcast on CBS from 1971 to 79. It was produced by Norman Lear and Bud Yorkin, and it starred Carol O'Connor and Gene Stapleton as Archie and Edith. All in the Family revolved around the life of a working-class bigot and his family. The show broke ground in its depiction of issues previously considered unsuitable for U.S. network television comedy, such as racism, homosexuality, women's liberation, rape, miscarriage, abortion, breast cancer, and on and on and on. Through depicting these controversial issues, the series became arguably one of television's most influential comedic programs, as it injected the sitcom format with real-life conflicts. The show ranked #1 in the yearly Nielsen ratings from 1971 to 76. Here is the Bunker family entertaining a very special guest.
Here's your beer, Archie, and here's your Twinkie, Mr.
Oh, that's some pest at the front door. I'll get it. And there goes the back door. Get that, Edith. You see that crawling out of the woodwork now. Oh, look at Barney Hefner with a camera.
Where is he? Where is he? There he is. Sammy Davis Jr. Can I have an autograph, Mr. Davis?
Oh, come on, Barney.
Hey, just one quick picture, huh?
Now, Barney, no pictures, huh?
No, it's all right.
Oh, yeah? All right, hold it.
Davis, this is Mrs. Haskell and her daughter.
Sit down, Edith. I'll take it from here.
Hello,
Go, Carissa. She's only been studying for 6 months.
We don't want no slick-mack amateur all around here.
You give her a chance at TV, she'd knock her to death. I just know it.
Get out of here.
Wait, Mrs. Haskell, you forgot your floor.
Yeah. Hey, and now I'd like to propose a toast. To the greatest entertainer in the world. And to the man who gave me the opportunity of meeting him face to face, my good friend and neighbor, Archie Bunker.
All right, that ain't a bad toast, Barney. I can drink to that one myself.
I'm Barney Hefner. I live across the street, the house with the new porch.
Oh, yeah. And not only the greatest entertainer in the world, but a man who proves that there's good and bad in all races.
Right.
I'll drink to that. And to friendship.
You hear that?
Ain't that nice?
The friendship, drink to that myself.
Yeah.
What are you looking at, Barney? You're done now. Get the hell out of here.
You're cranky today, Archie.
There he is! It's really him! Oh, and you're just as cute as you look on television. Oh, God bless you. Now, I don't want to take up any more of your time. I just came in to look at you.
Thank you.
And I'm looking at you. Look at you. Now, I want to say this right, Mr. Davis. Sholem Aleichem. Sholem. Oh, Mr. Davis. My goodness. Oh, Sammy Davis Jr.
You know, Sammy, them words I just heard you saying here, they reminded me of something that I always wanted to ask you.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, now, you're being colored. Well, I know you had no choice in that. But whatever made you turn Jew?
Now, here is naive Edith at her best.
Sammy.
Yes.
I was just remembering the last time I seen you on TV. It was on a Johnny Carson show.
Oh,
He
yeah.
was on with that there Raquel Walsh. Remember, Edith?
Oh, yeah, I remember. Oh, you were so sweet to her, Mr. Davis.
Oh, thank you.
Archie said he never thought he'd see the day when coloreds and whites would be hugging and kissing coast to coast.
And then Sammy and Archie go on.
Now, no prejudice intended, but, you know, I always check with the Bible on these here things.
Oh.
Yeah, I think that, I mean, if God had meant us to be together, he'd have put us together. But look what he done. He put you over in Africa. He put the rest of us in all the white countries.
Well, you must have told him where we were, because somebody came and got it. I mean, there was work for us.
I mean, and how could you resist? Free transportation, room, board, chains.
And then Archie's not prejudiced, not in the least bit prejudiced.
You're a guy been around a lot. You've seen a lot of people, you know a lot, see? Yeah. Now, you look at me. You figure me for a prejudiced guy?
Oh, Archie, you don't tell me you're really paying attention to those young kids. What do they know? I mean, you prejudice. Look, if you were prejudiced, Archie, when I came into your house, you would have called me a coon or a nigger. But you didn't say that. I heard you clear as a bell. Right straight out, you said, colored.
Yeah, that's what I done, all right.
And if you were prejudiced, you would, like some people, close their eyes to what's going on in this great country that we live in. But not you, Archie. Your eyes are wide open. You can tell the difference between black and white. And I have a deep-rooted feeling that you'll always be able to tell the difference between black and white. And if you were prejudiced, you'd walk around thinking that you're better than anybody else in the world. But I can honestly say, having spent these marvelous moments with you, you ain't better than anybody.
Can I have your hand on that sandwich? And I hope you all heard that over there. That comes straight from Sammy Davis Jr., Mr. Wonderful himself. And that should prove to you once and for all that I ain't prejudiced.
His truth goes marching on.
You see that? You can't learn him nothing. There's Munson with the briefcase now there, Sammy. I'll let him right in.
Oh, hi, Arch.
Munson, we're waiting for you. Where were you?
I'm sorry I took so long, Arch, but I bumped into Barney Hefner with his camera, so naturally I had to go back and get mine. Mr. Davis, this is an unexpected pleasure.
My pleasure. Thank you very much.
Can I get a picture,
No,
Mr. Davis?
come on, Munson, no pictures.
Oh, no, this one is for me. Mr. Munson, would you stand over there? I want one picture taken with Archie Bunker, my friend, and me.
You and me?
Oh, yes. Now, on three, okay? 1, 2, 3.
One of America's great funny women, Carol Burnett, had a raucous, loud voice, and she said, "I wasn't afraid to be goofy or zany." As an actress, comedian, singer, and writer, she is best known for her long-running TV variety show, The Carol Burnett Show. In addition, she enjoyed success on stage and film and in varying genres, including dramatic and comedy roles. Here is Carol Burnett with her ensemble, Vicki Lawrence, Harvey Korman, and Tim Conway, way down south in the land of cotton.
Sissy, get in here. Oh, what am I gonna do? Captain Butler is coming over and he's got money and I gotta get it. And look at me. I look like the inside of a goat's stomach. What am I gonna wear?
Well, Miss Starlet, the Yankees done stole all your clothes.
I know that, stupid.
Look, Miss Starlet, isn't that Captain Butler's carriage now?
Oh, Lord, what am I gonna do?
Well, I've got an idea. When he comes in, why don't you hide behind the drapes?
Sissy, help me take these down.
Well, what's she doing that for?
Never you mind. Now listen, when he gets here, you just keep him busy. You understand?
Yes, sir.
Because I got me a dress to make.
Yes, sir. What I say? What I say? What I say? Look at something. Why, Captain Butler, what a pleasant surprise.
Good afternoon, Sissy. Is Miss Starlet at home?
Come on in, she'll be down in a minute.
I really like what you've done with the place.
So, how are you, Captain Butler?
How am I? You ask that of a man who just returned from battle? Who returned from seeing brother pitted against brother? From seeing the world that he loved crumble beneath his feet? And you ask, how are you? How are you?
Oh, I'm pretty good, thanks, and you?
I'm a man of many wishes, Sissy. I wish this filthy war never happened. I wish for a time when life was simple and beautiful. I wish I was in the land of cotton. Old times there, not forgotten. Look away!
Look away?
Look away! Dixieland.
You know, that's real catchy. You ought to set that to music, Captain Butler.
I wish won't come true, Sissy. Hit like my dreams have went with the wind.
What wind? That's real pretty, but that don't answer my question.
What brings you to Terra?
You vixen, you. Starlet, I love you. That gown is gorgeous.
Thank you. I saw it in the window and I just couldn't resist it.
Starlet. I'm sorry, maybe it isn't Starlet. Isn't it Starlet? Starlet?
Yes?
Will you marry me?
Marry you? Why, you're the scum of the ocean and the chicken of the sea. Of course I'll marry you.
Where you gonna find a minister?
Well, I'm a minister. Will you marry us?
Sure. I now pronounce you man and wife. Now, how about them back taxes?
Here you are, minister. $300. Sissy, show the minister the door.
Shoot, for $300, I'll show him anything he wants. Come on, shoot.
Well, at last we're alone, Starlet.
Oh, no, you don't. No, you don't. There will be no kissing in this marriage.
Oh, yes, there will, Starlet. You need kissing. You need a lot of kissing, and from someone who knows how.
Oh, put me down! Put me down! What are you doing? Red, I never realized what a virile, strong hunk of man you are. I'm yours.
Now, Starlet, I'm pooped.
Shoot, this just hadn't been my day. Oh, brash.
Oh, hi, Starlet. What's going on?
I just became Mrs. Rat Butler. Would you like to kiss the bride, my darling?
Well, I.
Oh, brash, you know I love you. You know I love you.
Well, I always seem to be interrupting your tender moments.
Rat.
Step out of the way, woman. This is between us men.
Oh, perhaps I ought to get out of the way then.
Wait, you!
That was one of the great comic scenes. Well, there are a couple of other additional platforms for comedy in this country. The first is the Catskill Mountain Resorts in upstate New York, known as the Borscht Belt. It was a former boot camp putting Jewish comedians on the map of show business. Hundreds and hundreds of careers were launched on the stages of hotels like the Grossingers and the Concords. You know any of these people? In fact, Jerry Lewis and Brown's Hotel in Loch Sheldrick were synonymous at the time. Well, Dean Martin and Jerry Lewis were a comedy team comprising of singer Dean Martin as the straight man and comedian Jerry Lewis as the comedic foil. Martin was a nightclub singer while Lewis began his career in the Borscht Belt. As a team, they worked in nightclubs, on radio, starting in 1949. Then in television and films. The act consisted of Lewis always interrupting and heckling Martin while he was trying to sing, having as much fun as possible. They both said it was no secret they wanted to ignore the audience and play off one another. Here is a short scene with Dean Martin and Jerry Lewis.
Ladies and gentlemen, right now would give you our impression of a man and a woman trying to reconcile, whatever this means. And I shall play the part of the man, and Jerry shall play the part of the lady. What else? I can't go any place.
You got no money?
I can't show my face.
You had your nose fixed.
People stop and stare.
Are you for real?
Well, it's so hard to bear.
I know, Teddy.
Teddy.
Yeah, so hard to bear. Teddy, teddy bear.
Everybody knows you love me.
Well, you were mean to me. You abused me and continually slapped me, and just how long do you think I could stand it?
Well, it's the talk of the town.
It's your mother. She can't keep her mouth shut.
Let's make up, sweetheart. Oh, we can't ever part.
You like me?
We don't stop to speak, though it's been a week.
6 days, don't lie.
How can love like ours be ended?
Myron Cohn was a comedian and raconteur, beginning as a salesman in New York City garment industry. Before showing his samples, when calling on customers, he would tell a joke to put everyone at ease and establish a friendly mood. Cohn's jokes were often more popular than his garment samples, so his customer urged him to become a professional comedian. Launching his career in the Catskill Mountains, he was a nightclub entertainer and frequently appeared on TV variety programs such as The Ed Sullivan Show. Although he spoke perfect cultured English, he was a master at capturing the ethnic accents of the Jewish citizens of New York City. Here is one of the funny men in the business, Myron Cohn.
4 fellas are playing gin rummy. One loses $800 and drops dead right at the table. So out of respect to the deceased, they finish the game standing up. However, the situation now presents a problem. Someone must tell the wife nobody wants to, of course. So they draw lots. One man is selected, the other two say, please be careful in breaking the news. It's a serious bit of business. Break it to the wife gently. Says, with me, you ain't got but nothing to ward. Over to the house he goes, he rings the bell, the door opens, says, lady, your husband just lost $800 playing Jim Rum. She says, he should drop dead. He says, he did.
Another comedian, Don Rickles, a stand-up comedian and actor who also started in the Borscht Belt and a frequent guest on The Tonight Show. Rickles has acted in comic and dramatic role, but he's best known as an insult comic. Rickles had nothing against the people he insulted during his routines. It was all just part of the act. Although sarcastically nicknamed Mr. Warmth due to his offensive and insensitive stage personality, most don't know him to be quite genial and pleasant. Many feel that being insulted by the great Rickles is like wearing a badge of honor. Here is Rickles offending a whole bunch of people.
It's a wonderful thrill to be here with Dean Martin on his show. Dean Martin has been a friend of many, many years. Dean, I say this from my heart, really. I've never liked you. Never. I mean, where's a man going with Dolores, huh? Glass of milk, huh, Pat? I want to wish you prickly heat all over your stomach. Pat Boone, one of our great stars, right? As a daytime show, marvelous. The way he comes out, hi, I'm Pat Boone. What do you want, a cookie? Making a fool of yourself. You're going nowhere, Pat. I'm a friend. The pimples, you still think it comes from Hershey's, huh? I kid around about people. I got a reputation. Ricardo Montalban, a good friend. You know this. I got a reputation of being, like Newsweek said, the merchant of venom, destroys stars. You people in the back, this is not true. I love people, really. Ricardo, why do I kid you? Why? Because I don't like you.
Oh, that was Mr. Warmth. Now, one of the last great platforms was the Ed Sullivan Show. It was the golden age of television. People said that television would kill vaudeville, but for 23 glorious years on Sunday nights, vaudeville lived on, cleverly disguised as a TV show. From 1948 to 71, more than 1,100 hours and 10,000 performers sailed across his stage into our living rooms. Comedy was a big deal to Sullivan. Comedians were commanded to go to his suite at the Delmonico Hotel to make him laugh. He insisted on hearing every word of their routines before they went on the air. Heaven help them if they changed one line while in front of the camera, because comedy mattered more to Sullivan than any other form of entertainment. Alan King was the only comedian excused from the Delmonico auditions. He was the only comic that Sullivan trusted. Here are just a few of the comedians that made famous by his show. Quite a list. Well, Joan Alexandra Molinsky, known by her stage name as Joan Rivers, is a television personality, comedian, writer, film director, and actress. She's known for her ribald, insulting style. Rivers' comic style relies heavily on her ability to poke fun at herself and other Hollywood celebrities. Rivers made 20 appearances on The Ed Sullivan Show. Her long career spanning 5 decades has led her to becoming known as the comedy legend and icon, often being referred to as the modern queen of comedy. Here's a minute with Joan Rivers.
The meanest people are there in the whole world? Nurses. No, when you, don't give me, sure, all the men are going, yeah, well, they like me. Let a woman ask the nurse for help. That's where there is a woman. Am I right? Go try to have a baby. Nurse, the baby's coming, not in my ward. Oh, they are nasty. I had a nurse in the hospital. Oh, I said, nurse, I think I'm bleeding internally. She said, swallow a Band-Aid. They are, I'm telling you. They are not, yes. This nurse was so mean. She had her own scab collection. And I walked in, I was really pregnant, right? And then on my chart, under condition, she wrote ugly. Sure. Under age, she wrote bronze. I mean, I was not even... and the meanest thing was, because after I had my baby, nurses should be sweet. Don't you think they should say, you had a baby, huh? She brought a puppy wrapped in a blanket, brought it in. Looks like you. Is that me? And the only reason I'm telling you this now is because my daughter Melissa, obviously, who I gave birth to. Well, it could be somebody else, but that would be very stupid. Because I brought up Melissa, to hell with you. But my daughter is going to be 15 years old this month. And when you stop and think, 15 years ago this month, I was in Lenox Hill Hospital in New York City going, get this out of me!
What a crazy lady. At the Fieldstone Hotel in Swan Lake, New York in the summer of 1955, Jackie Mason was fired because his act was considered too far ahead of its time. Audience had never been exposed to a comic who seemed to be ridiculing them. After several appearances on The Ed Sullivan Show, Mason allegedly gave host Ed Sullivan the finger on the air. Sullivan was only signaling to Mason, pointing 2 fingers, that he had only a couple of minutes left. The program was about to cut away to a speech by President Johnson. Mason, working his own fingers to make fun of the situation, pointed toward Sullivan with the middle finger slightly separated up in the air. Sullivan, angered by this, banned Mason from the show, who didn't work for years. Making a comeback several years later, Sullivan publicly apologized to him, but Mason would never appear on the show again. So much for apologies. Here is a short moment from Jackie Mason.
I was always self-conscious type. Do you know that I was self-conscious at one time to such an extent that I couldn't talk to people at all? That's the truth. As a matter of fact, I was once so self-conscious that if I even went to a football game and I saw the players get into a huddle, I used to think that they were talking about me. As a matter of fact, I went to a psychiatrist and I said to him, what is it? He said, it's $25 a visit. I said, for $25, I don't visit. I move in. Then he took out an ink blot and he said to me, what do you see from this ink blot? I said, I see that you need a new fountain pen. I figured for $25, I'll drive him crazy. Then he said to me, tell me the first thing that comes to your mind. I said, I want $24 change. Then he said, I see your trouble. You hate your sister. I said, I haven't got a sister. He said, I can't help you if you won't cooperate. He said, I'll ask you another question. Thanks a lot. He said, I'll ask you another question. Why do you hate your father so much? I said, it so happens that I have the highest respect for my father. He said, then why do you hate your mother? I said, I love my mother. He said, then tell me when you first started to hate your brother. I said, I like him too. He said, then maybe you got a cousin you hate. I said, no, I love everybody. He said, you see, that's your trouble. Too much love. You got to hate somebody. I said, right now, I'm not so crazy about you. I'll tell you the truth.
Ed Sullivan also loved the comedy of novelty acts. One of the funniest husband and wife teams from England was the Jovers. Take a look at this group.
I'm so excited to be here. I didn't know what to wear.
Certainly didn't. Where'd you get that?
It fell off a truck. There was an old lady wearing it at the time.
Ladies and gentlemen.
Yes.
Ladies and gentlemen. What you're about to see.
Oh, no way. Oh, no. I couldn't bear it.
What you're about to see.
Yes.
We've been practicing for 15 years.
Yes, it's really true. Now we're both too old to do it. That's right. Yes.
From now on,
Yes.
this is going to be physical.
Oh.
This is a very serious moment.
Yes, I can tell by their faces.
A very tense moment.
I feel the tense.
Right, now
Yes.
just do everything I tell you. Right, now when I count 3,
Yes.
you're going to jump on my shoulders. It's very easy. You just step on here. 1, 2, 3, like that. See? Okay.
I'm so excited.
Okay, here we go. 1, 2.
Is this the tense moment?
No, I think it's the serious moment. Oh, don't laugh at this.
Why not?
Well, it's not funny.
Well, it feels funny.
Oh, just ignore it. You're
Yes.
right. Okay, now pretend nothing happened.
Nothing happened.
Okay, here we go. 1, 2, 3, spring.
You're kidding.
Come on, spring. You're not springing.
Spring will be a little late this year. In case you think I've gone topless, those are my knees.
Okay. You like it?
I can see everything from up here.
Oh, I'm sure you can, yes.
You can see everything.
I used to do this act with a monkey.
Now I'm doing it with a turkey. Oh. Oh, wait a minute.
Oh.
What do I do now?
I don't know. We've never got this far before.
Think of something.
Okay.
Yes.
Now put your arms at the back.
Yes, at the back. Yes.
Grab your ankle. Oh, don't stop that again. What is it now?
I don't think this is right. I should be more comfortable than this. I think you'd better read the book again.
Now just hang on.
Of course I'm going to hang on. I just thought of something else.
Well, I hope it's important.
Very important.
And what is it?
I think I have to go to the powder.
The Jovers. And now, to close our program tonight, stand-up comedy is a genre of its own. I've picked 2 of the most memorable to laugh away and end this wonderful time together. The first one is John William Johnny Carson. A television host and comedian, was known for 30 years as host of The Tonight Show. His show was so successful by the end of the 1970s, Carson had become an American icon and remained so until his retirement in '92. He adopted a casual conversational approach which allowed extensive interaction with guests. Each night he opened the show with a monologue, and Johnny was considered the funniest stand-up comedian in the business. Here's Johnny.
You want to hold her?
Sure.
She likes you to hold her on her back of rubber belly.
Well, so do I. I'm in room 607. Look at this, going to sleep.
Ma bush dogging me one day, going down the trail. Came upon an old bush dog and said, "Hail, hail." Is he dead? What is...
Well, I've saved the last laugh. I've saved one of the best for the last, one of the great comedians of our time. Through humor, you can soften some of the worst blows that life delivers, and once you find laughter, no matter how painful your situation might be, you can survive. It was said by Bill Cosby. In addition to being a comedian, actor, author, television producer, educator, and musician, William Henry Bill Cosby is an activist and a humanitarian. A veteran stand-up performer, he got his start at the Hungry Eye in the San Francisco and various other clubs, then landed a starring role in the 1960s action show I Spy. The Cosby Show, which aired 8 seasons from 1984 to 1992, was the #1 comedy show in America for 5 straight years. The sitcom highlighted the experiences and growth of an affluent African-American family. Here is one of the funniest comedians of our generation, Bill Cosby, at a place that we all love to visit.
Dentists tell you not to pick your teeth with any sharp metal object. Then you sit in their chair, and the first thing they grab is an iron hook. And they start to pick in an area that you came to get fixed. And I found out something about myself while the dentist was doing that. I found out if I was ever paralyzed from the knee down, I'd be able to walk with my behind. Because the whole time he kept doing that, I just kept... You sit up. I'm sorry. I beg your pardon. Sit up. I'm sorry. Now the dentist pulls out a needle. This is to deaden the pain. Should open up. Now, a regular doctor giving you a shot will go, and that's it. Dentists don't do that. They go. And you're there. Then they want to talk to you. Do you ever do any fishing? Where do you usually go? Yes, I've been there many times myself. Now he pulls the needle out. Puts this thing in your mouth. This will suck up your face. The dentist goes outside to laugh at you. And you sit, grown-up, intelligent human being, arguing with this thing. You also notice that the right side of your face feels like it's sliding off of your skull. And your bottom lip is in your lap. So the dentist comes back, you want to talk to him. So you say, I beg your pardon? I mighty mighty service.
I don't understand.
Mighty service. Mighty service. Did you see my service?
The right.
Every skinny itty. Mighty service.
In your face?
Yes.
What's the matter with it?
Whether it was mighty with it? Mighty service. My service is heavy done. Give me see this. This, it is my bottom limit. It wasn't like this when I came in here.
Well, I'll fix it.
I hope so. Because when you put a needle in my mouth, my service wouldn't die right with.
Oh, he was the funniest man in the world. Well, the legendary clown Red Skelton told me personally, you have to laugh. I never take life seriously because you're never going to get out of it alive. There are dozens and dozens of comedians that I would have loved to include tonight. Stay tuned for another part. I hope that I provided some laughs for you tonight. Say goodnight, Jimmy.
It's time to say good night. Good night. What more is there to say but good night? Folks, I'll be back next week. And good night, folks. And good night, Mrs. Calabash, wherever you are.
Good night, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you very much.
Arnold Breman. Arnold Breman, ladies and gentlemen. I hope you'll all join us for after hours in the library. Thank you, and good night.